Good morning, everybody. I was just cleaning my floor off a little bit. It was dried out, but there was a bunch of dirt and stuff stuck to it. So got that cleaned up. We'll let it dry off here for a little bit. I think I'm gonna bring my truck back in and try and finish them fenders up a little bit. And I think Brock's coming a little bit later this morning. We'll work on these tractors when he gets here. But first, I have somebody coming to look at our anhydrous bar this morning, it sounds like. So I want to kind of dig through some of this stuff and get all of our spare parts. We've got a ton of extra parts for that anhydrous applicator. Stuff buried down in there, knives, all this stuff. I want to dig some of this stuff out so that they can look at it if they want. And, you know, we'll see. Maybe we can sell that thing today. That'd be awesome. Well, there's a lot of stuff. There's 4 brand new mounts there that hold the whole shank and stuff onto the bar. We got some sealers. We've got over here a pile of shanks. There's 4 of them there. There's some springs on that side, and then underneath there's some closing wheel mounts, or the sealers and stuff, and there's some more discs. So we got a pile of parts. I don't know how much are the parts worth. Anyway, I brought my truck in. Gotta wash it again because drive around, it gets dirty. Get that though. That's that spray on clear or ceramic stuff. Yeah, that looks good. Cool. Awesome. I'm just gonna rinse it down quick, and we're gonna get our. Well, I'm gonna get some soapy water and clean them fenders up. But I want to get that buffer and try and blend in that new paint that I put on with the old stuff a little bit better, and then I'll spray the ceramic stuff on it again, and then we'll be done here. Wow, impressive. So I sprayed it down with some foam and wiped it with a rag, and now I'm just rinsing it off, and look how quick the water beads off of that where I put that ceramic spray. That's pretty awesome. That's what I was hoping for on the tractors, but now I get that it's been 2 days or 3 days and not a year. Well, who knows how long it'll hold up, but man. And then look on this rear. Can you tell where I hit it with the clear coat? I did not ceramic this, spray it, because I was wanting to do the fender, get the paint done first, and look, everywhere I put the clear coat, water bead right up. So, anyway, we'll finish rinsing it off and we'll dry it. So I'm sure you guys are getting tired of watching me wash and clean stuff as much as I am getting tired of doing it. But I promised my mom that I would ceramic coat her car. And since I used her washing machine to wash my rags and stuff this week, and I'm doing those tractors probably today, I decided now's the time. Get it in here, clean it up. So I'm doing this one real quick. She bought this car new in October, I believe. End of September. So the paint is in really good shape. We just need to get it protected sooner rather than later. Okay, so my truck is dry, at least the back of it here where I need to work. I'm going to use this rotary buffer. I've got some of that compound on there and see what we can do. I did not do as good of a job on this side. As you guys can see, there's a little wave to it. The driver's side is much better, but it is what it is. It's still better than big rust holes. So we'll go over this a couple of times, see if we can blend them together and smooth it out a little bit, and we'll be good. Yeah, I don't think that looks too bad. I know I'm a long ways back, but I mean, from what that was to that, can you tell? Not from here. You get close enough, you can see it. I didn't do a great job. I know that, but it's smooth, it blends. You can't see the line where the paint was. This is a break. I'm thrilled with that. Not a professional, not a body shop. Cost me less than 50 bucks and some time. That's good. That'll last me as long as the rest of the life of that truck is. You know, if it's 2 years before it starts bubbling through again, so be it. Who cares? Okay, I am done with the truck. I put another coat of that spray on ceramic stuff on. Time to do something productive. I want to grease these fan drives on both of these tractors. So they're basically the same, just a little bit different on each one. On this one, there is a plug in the front between all these cap screws here on this pulley, and there's one right there. We've got to pull both of those out, put a greaser in the front, pump grease into there, and then there's one in that center drive with that spring on it, and there's our plug there that we've got to pull out. So I gotta get the Allen wrenches and grease fittings, and we'll get this done. Okay, first thing we need to do is get this grease plug out. Might need some pliers. Yeah, hang on. Okay. Now we do the one on the front. Now we can stick our grease plug in on the front there. Grab our grease gun, put it on, and then start pumping and watching this back hole, the first plug we took out, until we see the grease move. "66 pumps on that one. Okay, then we can take the grease plug out. And I know I did this on the 9R, and somebody asked me why you don't just leave the plugs in. And well, I don't really have a great answer for that other than this is the way I was told to do it. And since I got to take that plug out anyway, it's not really that big of a deal to take another one out and put a grease fitting in. So that's how I've been doing it. They are a little slippery once they're covered in grease though. Alright. Also, I use cornhead grease for this. Cornhead grease is just a lower grade viscosity. It's a 0 grade instead of a 2 like most of the grease we use. From what I understand, you can use the regular grease, but when we first got this tractor and I was asking about doing this, they told me to use cornhead grease. So I did, and I don't want to switch now, so I'll just keep using the cornhead grease. Alright, there's that one. Now we got to do the one way in there, and you guys won't be able to see anything, so I'm just going to do it. Okay, that one is done. Check out my fancy little parts table we got here. It's an old surgery table out of a vet clinic, but rolls around, extends, it's heavy duty, works pretty good. Stainless steel. So, alright, now on to this one. Let me get the hood open. Alright, so this one is a little bit different. In this case, one, it's on the opposite side of the tractor from that one. But two, we've got to actually pull the front of this pulley off because the plug is not back here, it's under the belt. So there's 6 bolts right there that have to come off. The plug is still in the middle where we put the grease, but we've got to be able to get underneath the belt to take the other one out. So I got to get a 13mm wrench, socket, ratchet, something. Okay. So now we can get our belt out of the way. And somewhere there's a plug. Is it that one? There's a little one right there. I thought it was a bigger one than that. I could be wrong. We've also got to come back here and crack this valve, which lets this push in. See, it's a variable speed, so this side of this pulley moves in and out, which squeezes the belt and makes it move in and out to change the geometry of it. And that block there is what kind of controls the oil flow. So if you crack that, it allows the oil to push back out and you can slide that half open. Okay, so I got that front pulley off, and then I opened that valve, and now you can see how this thing slides. And so what we're trying to do and why we're greasing this is because we need to get grease in there on the internal components where it slides. And so that's what this is for. So we're going to take the plug out of here, and I'm going to take this plug out because I'm pretty sure that's the right one. There's no other plug, so it's got to be the right one. And we'll pump some grease in there. Well, I got it. Every time I would pump some grease in there, it would want to push this plate out, and so I'd put a few pumps in and then I would push it back, and when I did that, it squeezed a bunch of grease out of there. We got to clean that up as best we can because, well, it's a belt surface and we don't want grease on the belt where it's going to make it slip. So I thought so, but I was double checking. This tractor does not have a grease fitting on the fan side of this belt. The front of it up there is just a big bolt that holds the fan to the shaft, and there's no plugs or anything on the sides in the pulley there or on the back side. So it's just that big spring that kind of keeps the tension on that half of it. So we are ready to put it back together. Okay, there's that. This will, I gotta tighten that back up, but this will close up instantly basically as soon as you start the tractor up and start the fan running. So we don't have to worry about any of that. We just gotta close it so that it can adjust. Look who's here. Did you watch yesterday's video, Brock? Yeah. If you didn't see yesterday's, Brock forgot to close a drain plug on a fuel filter that made it a little difficult to start. But we figured it out, no big deal. All right, so the fan drives are done. So now what I want to do is pull the duals off the front, and we got to get to the hub in there and pull a plug and check the oil level. So it's gonna be a little tight working with these two tractors side by side. Since I'm done with my truck, I'm gonna pull that out. We'll pull this tractor forward and work on one at a time. This is one of those times that we use our overhead crane to help move tires and stuff. I'm not complaining about our shop because our shop is great, but it's days like today when you're working in tight quarters with a couple of tractors or lots of different stuff in here. Having the back half of this on the other side of that wall and doors insulated so we can spread out, that'd be pretty nice. Have a little bit more room. Oh well, this works. We're getting that. Gotta get the tires off the ground. If you do both of them, then you can spin them without having to move the tractor, so it's just easier to lift them both up at once. It's awesome. Wow. It's a little harder than the push the buttons to make it move kind. There we go. Probably too far. All right. A little too far. We'll wrap our strap around our tire, lift it out of here. Okay. When we lift it up, and then we push it out of the way. We're gonna hit our table. I might let it down, I might just let it hang. No, we're gonna have to let it down because we gotta wrap a strap around this piece and get that off of there too. Better than having to get the air gun out. I think that 8 amp hour battery, the one that I got with my leaf blower, helps. Gives a little more oomph. If you strap it right and you balance it just right, that works pretty good. Okay, we'll let that sit right there. Now we need to rotate the tire, not a dual anymore, until the oil level line is level. You might have to jack the tires up a little bit there, Brock. If it doesn't turn easy, it's because it's settled. Other side. So about right there. Now we take that plug out, see if there's oil behind it. Yep, oil. And now we put it all back together. We even got the proper torque wrench out to tighten these up. 445 foot-pounds. Go. We just snugged them with the Milwaukee. There you go. And time for the tire. Should have washed it while it was off. Okay, that one is back on. Now we get to do it 3 more times. Okay, well, there's one tractor done. We gotta do the other one. I'm gonna have to kind of switch places. This car's gonna be in the way, which means I'm gonna have to finish that up before we move on here. It's also lunchtime, so there's that. And I'm also still waiting for this guy to come and look at our anhydrous bar, so I can't really go anywhere. So, yeah. I guess I'm gonna work on that car for a minute. We'll have to find something for Brock to do. All right, we've got Brock going around these tractors, and he was finding some tar and stuff and cleaning that up, doing a little touch-up stuff and washing windows and everything. I have got Mom's car all cleaned up, wiped down with some rubbing alcohol. I'm gonna hit it with this ceramic coating real quick here and get it out. All right, ceramic is on. She's pretty. It's kind of fun doing a car that has really good paint, no scratches, no stone chips, no nothing. Just beautiful. Beautiful paint. Look. All right, time to get this out of here, put it back in Mom's garage, and then go in and break it to her that she can't drive it for 4 to 7 days. Sorry, did I forget to tell you that, Mom? Yeah, it's got a cure for 4 to 7 days. It'll probably be okay, just don't get it wet. I even foamed her tires for her. Nice.
It's awesome.
Yeah? What do you think? It's shiny.
It sparkles.
Yeah. I had to park it in the sun so you could see it.
I want to do water test.
No. You didn't tell you?
What?
You can't drive it for 4 to 7 days. It has to cure for 4 to 7 days. You're not allowed to get it wet. This seems dangerous. Brock's never driven an IVT tractor before, and he picks the tight quarters in the shop to do it. Yeah, he's doing okay. I don't know if I want to stand in front of him, but look at him. You see that? He took his shoes off because he doesn't want to get the floor dirty. That's hilarious. All right, we're going to switch these basically, back the other one up here so we can do that front hub oil in the 8430. And then, and then we'll see what else we got to do. So I did a little tire pricing. They're not cheap. Over 2,200 bucks a piece, and we need 8 of them. I don't know. We're gonna have to make some decisions there. Anyway, we're gonna do this hub oil. You've already seen it today, so you'll see in a little bit. I should paint these rims. They're a little faded yellow. The problem is if I paint those rims, then I have to paint those rims, and then I'm gonna end up painting everything else, and that's just a bad idea. Okay. Well, we're pretty well done with the stuff that we need to do to the tractors other than greasing, ILS, and 3 points. And we could probably do that today. We'll probably do that today. The other thing that we can do is start putting a little bit of this stuff back together. I want to leave the green shields and some of the black stuff off until we get it cleaned up, and I can wax or ceramic them or whatever. It's easier to do pieces on the ground. But like that piece there is for around that fan shroud where we were greasing that fan earlier today, so we can put that back together, and then I am going to wait to do any more wax. What I'm going to do is put another coat of the ceramic on it because I have it, the Armor Shield 9, the good stuff, instead of the spray stuff. But I need to get them a little bit cleaner, so I want to use my clay bar kit stuff that I got to go over them and prep the surface really well, get them nice and clean. I probably need some more rubbing alcohol. I'm about out of that, but then we'll wipe them down and put another coat of ceramic on. Because it did work. It kept the color. It just didn't beat up the water great. So we'll do it again, see how things are next year. But anyway, I'm gonna have Brock put those shields and stuff back in, and we'll go through the greasing stuff. And yeah. So now's a pretty good opportunity. While we have both of these tractors in the shop, he's working on this stuff. Somebody asked me today, Al, thank you, what's the difference in these two tractors? And that's a pretty good question. Mechanically, there's some minor differences. Well, there's a fair amount of difference. That one there, the 8430, is a 2009 model, and it is about 305 engine horsepower is what it's rated at. This one is a 2012 8335R, and it is 335 engine horsepower. They changed the numbering between these two. And basically, this one is a series newer than that one and a size bigger. So when they made the 8430s, they also made an 8530. I'm not exactly sure what the rated horsepower on those was, but I think it was like 330 horsepower. And so this one would be the direct replacement to that model. Now there was, in 2010, there were some tractors in there that were a little bit different number, but essentially that's the difference. Now, mechanically, there are some major differences. The biggest being this one has an IVT transmission in the 8R. That one has a power shift. And that one, the 8R, is a IT4, or interim tier 4 emission standards. So it has an exhaust gas recirculation EGR valve with a diesel particulate filter to help control some of the soot and exhaust emissions from diesel and stuff. And this is a tier 3. So this is just one step more stringent standards on the emissions controls. What else are the differences? Some minor things with how they function. The 8R has got a lot more electronics. It's got that command center display on the armrest there, where the 8430, there's a lot of electronics in it, but it wasn't quite as sophisticated as the 8Rs yet, and so there are just some differences in that kind of stuff. Tires are the same on the back. We've got a little bit wider tires on the 8R than the 8430 on the front, just what they came with more or less. But so that's the big stuff. What else? Any other questions specifically on those two, and I'll try and answer them. From a use standpoint and practicality of them, they really are fairly interchangeable in our operation. Phil uses the 8430 for planting beans and pulling our 1790 in the spring. We'll also put it on our disc a little bit. We used to put all the anhydrous on with that tractor, but now that I've been doing more of that, so we've been using the 8R. The 8R we put on the corn planter, and I really like it for that because of the IVT transmission, and it works really well for planting corn. The 8430 does all the wheat planting in the fall, and usually it ends up on our Landau disc doing some tillage and working the corn stalks, because we have the 8R on the grain cart. Either one of these tractors can run that grain cart. Again, the IVT just makes it a little bit nicer with the 8R, so that's why we choose that one. Outside of that, you know, that one's got a little bit more power. It pulls the disc just as well or a little bit better than this one. We've got that 512 5-shank John Deere ripper. Either one of them would pull that, and there's not a whole lot of differences as far as what they can and cannot do. I will say the cab in the 8R is much, much nicer than the cab in the 8430. Not that that one's that bad, but this one, the seat swivels so much better. The light brown interior instead of the dark brown and black in the 8430 is a lot nicer, just lighter. And I just, that one's more comfortable. It just is. So, but what else? That one's got a little bit bigger 3-point hitch. It's a category 4, convertible to category 3. This one's category 3, 3N, and both have a PTO. They're about the same. And one last thing about these two. This one's got over 5,000 hours on it. What are we at? 5110. and it's getting to that point where we need to start thinking about trading it. We're not there yet, but you know, maybe in the next year or two we'll think about it. That one at 4,000 hours isn't going to be too far behind. So you know, they're both really good tractors. They're still fully functional for us. Personally, I kind of consider once you get over 4,000 or 5,000 hours, they're getting to be high-houred, although there are tractors that run a lot longer than that. So it's just here 6-8 years ago, all of our main tractors had less than 2,000 hours, and now we're starting to push them up there. So something to think about here in the next couple of years. All right, we're going to do some greasing here. I'm not going to show you every one because, well, I'm sure I did last year, and this video is probably getting sort of long, so we're just going to grease it. Start with the 3-point, and we'll do the ILS on the front. But there's grease zerks there, down there. There's one down underneath. He's doing the ones on the arms, which, yeah, we'll do it, but it's not going to work. So they don't turn very much. It's not really critical there. So now we're greasing the ILS and the front axle, drive shafts and stuff here. There's a lot of grease fittings on this. There's one here, down there. There's two on this rod. There's at the top and the bottom of these pivots. And then there's one on the bottom of that U-joint. And we are also pulling the plugs and putting grease fittings in on that double U-joint, CV joint, the drive shaft, and greasing those as well. Greased. They're done. All right. When we come back next week, we'll worry about getting the ceramic coating on and finishing touches of cleaning them up. But yeah, good week getting those two through here, plus my truck and all that good stuff. So yeah, won't take too long to finish. I don't know if we'll get it Monday, but by Tuesday they should be out of here. All right, guys, I'm going home. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Hope you guys enjoy the big football game Monday night. OH. Next week, getting these tractors out of here, and then we're probably going to bring the 8300 in, maybe the 4440. I don't know. We'll see what else. And then shortly after that, it's going to be time to get planters in the shop. So by the end of the month, I'm sure we'll have at least one of the planters in here. Well, they're a one-at-a-time thing because there ain't enough room for two. So we're going to make some decisions on some tires on these. So these tractors, at least one of them, may be back in the shop at a later date this winter. We'll see you on that, and we'll go from there. So if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Hit that like and subscribe button for me, please, and we'll see you guys next week.